Hi Esther, thank you as always for uploading your pictures. I just tell you, it's driving me crazy because I knew I've seen this picture before because it's an exceptionally good picture, and I was thinking, is she like trying to like pretend, yeah. And anyway, then I realised it was Best in Raw that you would just, and it really, we'll get to it in a bit, but it really is an excellent example of Best in Raw. So it just happens also to be a fantastic shot as well that I remembered. Okay, so let's jump in. First things first, sorry. Just the overview of the portfolio is extremely impressive. Just let me remind myself what camera you're using. D7000. Let me just see what this is. 1 second. So I did that. I'm not familiar with Nikon, so I just looked it up. You're dealing with like the Canon 70-80D range, which is means it's a good semi-professional camera, and you can definitely, for sure, 100% open up a business using a camera like this. So it's excellent, very good, very, very high quality photography, and you are for sure right now worthy of charging money for your photography. It doesn't matter what anyone says. If people say wait a little longer, you have to jump in if you want to do this to earn some money. But you have to jump in. You have to believe in yourself, B'ezrat Hashem. You have to really believe in the fact that you can do this as well. And you're completely entitled to be charging money for this photography, 100%. Okay, so that said, let's have a look. You are using, this is getting used to using the AI Servo, which on your camera is not called AI Servo, but it's the tracking focus system. And we can see how well this worked. Each picture taken within a second. So actually you weren't shooting in burst. Maybe you weren't using that. It could be, according to these pictures, it could be that you pressed the button down, although it would probably have still had a problem focusing. Where's the focus here? Just have to suss this out. So these guys are in focus. See, because I can't see the settings for your autofocus. But the reason why I'm debating is because if you look here, each picture took place in a different second. So your camera obviously didn't go click, 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 like, so the way to show that it's working in AV is usually with tick, 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 unless it could also be that you chose different pictures from the series as well. That also could be, as in there were many more pictures of this and you just pulled out 3. So anyway, that said, I can't tell exactly if that is using AI Servo or not, but the idea is basically in place that with the AI Servo it will allow you to track, which is not so important when you're following, let's say, a sports game, although it is important, it's very important, but it's more important in a different situation. If you're at a sports game and you're like following, people running this way and this way, then to have AI Servo you should do, but that's not really the most amazing part of AI Servo. AI Servo is that when people walk towards you, which means the distance is changing constantly, your camera can keep focusing. In one shot, you will not actually be able to take a picture. The camera will not focus, and you'll be pressing the button harder and harder and harder, and you just, so AI Servo will fix that frustration. Okay, no need for RAW. That is a beautiful example of no need for RAW. I very much appreciate your stats are absolutely perfect. 10 out of 10. Pat on the back. Cropped in also beautifully. Is it straight? Maybe it's a little bit not straight. 1 second. But maybe she's... So I think that would make it feel a little straighter. I think that feels a little straighter, but it's a minor adjustment. She's beautifully posed. That's very cute. I don't usually do that. I have them hold their hands like this. Generally, I just feel it feels a bit more like ladylike. But anyway, so I love folding legs. I do that. Maybe you got that from what I mentioned. She could also, instead of just folding her legs like that, she could fold and have one of her, if you can see what I'm doing, like one of her legs go kind of on tippy toes. It's also very nice. But in regards to the actual concept, no need in RAW, absolutely, because although this is an ugly colour, it's not white. The the background and the foreground are of a comparable exposure, which means really there is no need for RAW in this picture. Which is not the case for this picture, which is the exact opposite thing, where if this was shot in RAW, and the truth is though, I personally feel in this picture, the white here like adds, I mean I'd have to see it with a darker blue, or with a light blue, but I feel that this like releases some of the energy, and you just got such a, you know, you've got a funny face, you've got just a gorgeous smile here, and this kind of like, you know, you can see, I don't need to describe it, it's very beautiful. But this whole here kind of goes with that energy created by these faces. So anyway, but technically this area is considered blown out, which is generally not a good idea. So if we had a RAW file, although I think it would have to be shot darker in the first place, if the entire exposure was lower, was less light, they would become darker. You could bring them back in post a little bit, brighten up a little bit. I think at this point it's a little too bright. Even RAW wouldn't help too much there. It needed to be a little bit darker. But this picture's as we say, a stonker. It's you know, just gorgeous. I love that picture. Love it. Okay. Okay, here. Okay, let's start. This is your photo shoot. Okay, so first things first, which I always like to do, is just see the portfolio and what's your immediate feeling to the entire portfolio, because generally nowadays we're presenting people with pictures of boards with lots of pictures. So this is great, excellent, looking good. Okay, let's have a think now. Have a little look. Just be super hard on yourself. What's wrong here? So I'm thinking what's wrong here is just this light is ugly. Okay, I was speaking to some of my students yesterday, and I was articulating my process in how to shoot. So let's think. In this situation, I'd be thinking, what's wrong? Why isn't this picture perfect? And I'd be thinking, well, this light here is kind of messy. So that, for me, is the biggest problem. Are they posed okay? They're okay. He could be turned a little bit in. But that's fine. The pose is fine. But the real problem, you could also say this white piece over here. The real serious, like, what's it called? The jagular problem, whatever it is. The most obvious problem here is this light. And how could we remedy that? Just so simple. If we just move around a little bit this way, then this light will start coming from behind them, and very quickly we will end up with them. Not only will we not have this ugly light on the side, but we will actually have a very beautiful light rimming them all around. Okay, it's very special. That's something that us photographers are always looking to do. The actual picture is, I mean, you're doing great. Stats wise, 100%. I would be using. That's perfect. 2.8 because we're scared that they're a little bit further apart. Could maybe do 2.5, even 2.2. But the truth is actually on your camera, because you have a crop frame camera, you should actually do a few experiments. Don't just assume that, because it could be, I've seen in the past with crop frame cameras, that the depth of field at say 1.8, a certain focal length, is much longer than the depth of field at 1.8 on a full frame camera. I don't understand all the physics of it, and I don't, claim to, but I do know what ends up being, Lamisa. So anyway, that's the basic fix for this. So I would also, the truth, I quite like it over here. As a rule, this kind of light is not acceptable, but in this case, I feel because he's got such soft skin, and there's still like a lot of soft, and it's not great. Like it works. I feel that it does work, but that's uncommon that it feels away. In short, it's a great shot, and I love this picture. But be careful with this. Turn him around and get his face in the shadow. His face ends up shadowed by his own body, so to speak. Because if the light's coming this way and he turns his head like this, then his face is in shadow. So anyway, just keep that in mind. You've cropped in really closely. It's nice. One thing's a little annoying, that would be quite difficult to think of at the spot, is that all these puffy things got cancelled out by his white shirt. That would be another thing that would be fixed by having him completely in the shadow. Anyway, good shot. Lovely. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So now here I can pick fault with the stats, and I would say to you that you're not. I don't know what's happening a second before, whatever. So I don't know, but I'm just as a hard teacher that I'm really trying to help you. I would say that number one, 100 ISO should be at 200 generally, but it's okay. The real fix here would be instead of 2.5, this should be at 1.8, and that would give you an extra stop of light that would allow you to be at a 1/500th of a second. Did anything go wrong here? Not really. It's really you missed the focus a teeny little bit. See just over there. And that was also 2.5. Interesting. So, but would it be the stats aren't bad. They're good stats. I'm just saying it could be absolutely perfect. The fact that you missed the focus is a little bit upsetting. In fact, it's hard to do it because it's just such a gorgeous picture. Like I have pictures I could show you. Let me show you one thing. 1 second. To show you these pictures that you saw in the class. Look at this. Just the difference between. Look at that picture where I missed her face and I hit her cardigan, and this picture. Zoom out a little bit. Look at the difference. Big difference. Anyway, so that is the difference, and you have to try and hammer that down. Practice. That is the key to getting focus. Practice. Okay. More than anything, I mean, it's all practice, but focus is really a concept of practicing. Do I focus on the eye and then move the camera? How does that work? See the results and have a think. What about if I move the focus point up to the place, and then I don't have to move my camera so much? If I'm focusing on the eye, I keep thinking I'm focusing on the eye, but I keep seeing that my eyebrow is in focus. Then that means should I focus? Let's see what happens if I focus on the ear, and then maybe the eye will be in focus. And then you'll see that it's an issue with the camera. And sometimes people just work with that. Otherwise, you could take it to show. There's issues. There's also micro adjustments in the camera. Whatever, you can have a Google around in regards to focus. But it usually doesn't need so much getting so involved in. But just in this picture, just that was the part that we're missing. Okay, over here, this is a great shot. I love this heavy triangle here, which is giving a lot of energy and just a lot of life, movement. We've got beautiful. Look, you nailed the focus there. Excellent. You got a great back. You nailed. That's excellent stats. Perfect. Again, another pat on the back. Great shot. I love this. Face is clear. Could we take this much further in Lightroom? I don't think so. Maybe just brighten the eyes a little bit. Let's see what else. Okay, this is gorgeous. The colours are lovely. The background you've chosen is excellent. Maybe it'd be nice to just have them on the grass, but it's not such a big deal. The one thing that I could maybe pick fault with is that there's no real connection or emotion or connection really between the subjects. It's a very disconnect, which sometimes we can do in like a kind of funky way, but this is just, I'm imagining the little sisters, if she was over here and she was over here and we had a nice circular feeling with her, that would be it would just feel a little more what do I call cute and neat. Those are the two words that I give for posing little girls: cute and neat. Okay, so let's take which picture into Lightroom. We'll take this picture into Lightroom. I would love to take this picture into Lightroom, but that's just how it goes when we misfocus. It's not a picture that we want to be throwing around. Let's just brighten her eyes maybe and just darken a teeny bit around there. Let's see. Really not much to do in Lightroom. Let's have a look. So I'm just going to go to my Iris Enhance. This is obviously my first point of call. Press space. That allows me to zoom in. I will put on the auto mask, which will stop it at the corners of her eyes and just mean that I won't go over her eyelids. Okay, that's good. Can see you in there taking the picture. Okay. Always good to zoom out. Get rid of the point by pressing H, and then you press the slash button, which allows you to toggle just to make sure that you didn't overdo it. I think that's fine. And I think I'm just going to put in a slight vignette, and then we're going to leave it at that. Just a slight vignette. Can we brighten her skin? Let's have a look if that makes sense. Let's see. Brighten skin. Let's just go all the way over. Not that much, definitely. And I don't think we want the clarity up. In fact, if anything, maybe drop the clarity down a teeny drop. Let's just have a look now, the before and after. I would leave the face a little bit brightened like that. But really, nothing doing there. Nothing serious there. Excellent, amazing. Looking forward to seeing what you do for us next week. Okay, keep up the good work. You've done fantastically.